Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and I'm back with a new edition of my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, The Path to Making Over $100,000 a Year When Writing Service in the Automotive Industry in the United States of America, Canada, and Australia. And you know, at this recording, 20% of you are doing just that, making 100 grand or more, but 80% of you are not. Now, what are we going to do about that? Well, here's one thing I think you should do. Be smart to do. Keep watching my podcast, read my articles, follow me online. And by doing so, you're going to get the techniques, you're going to get the processes, you're going to get the word tracks, and everything you need to be the absolute best you can be enjoying that $100,000 a year arena. And it's a fun arena to be in. You know, I'm back today with a very timely message. You'll remember that this is going to be part 2 of a 2-part podcast, because last week we talked about the new normal part 1. Now that podcast was based on things that you'd been calling, emailing, and texting me about, things that you were doing during the virus that you were wondering, are we going to need to continue to do this as we come out of the virus situation? Are these things going to be necessary for the new normal? And what we discovered is that nobody's really interested in going back to a new normal from a customer standpoint. I mean, nobody's sitting around saying, I can't wait to get out of the house to go back to the new normal. But what they are saying is I want to go back to the normal. And as we discussed last week, I think that only about 5%, give or take, of what you were doing before the virus is going to need to be changed for you to continue to do business in a profitable way. So that was part 1. Part 2, what we're going to talk about is if there is going to be a new normal, what should it look like? Okay? What should it be? You're going to find out here in just a few minutes. We've got a great opportunity. Here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. Is normal really what we want to go back to? You know, is normal what, is what customers are going to want when they come back? Don't they expect better than what we were doing before we went into this? And here's what I mean by this. You know, 80 to 90%, somewhere between 80 to 90% of automotive dealerships out there that have a service department had service departments that were severely underperforming. 80 to 90% were severely underperforming. I mean, and all you have to do to prove this out is let's take a look at the metrics, because it's sad. 80 to 90%. I mean, here's what we got. Customer paid hours per repair order, including oil changes. National average, 1.3. Effective labor rate, 68% of the door rate. Are you kidding me? Or only 20% of service drives out there have a walk-around process. And only half of those use that walk-around process 100% of the time. Customer retention is down around a measly 29%. 29%, that's not even a sustainable number, right? And you know, less than 10% of the service departments out there have any type of really strong, any at all, selling and customer service handling training for their advisors. Over 90% of service advisors have never been to a selling class and or how to handle customer class. 90%, and that's their job. 90% of service advisors out there have never read a selling book, yet that is what they get paid to do. It gets worse. You know, over 70% of the dealerships out there that have tablets and other tools to enhance their efficiency and make the experience better from their customers don't even use them. All right? And finally, nearly all the service departments out there who've invested in software programs and other like tools to make themselves more efficient and better either misuse it, okay, use it only part of the time, or don't use it at all. So my question here is that really a normal we want to go back to? Do we really want to go back to the old normal? Wouldn't it be better to finally stand up and take control and do something different? And if there is going to be a new normal, why don't we dictate what that new normal should be? And why don't we make that new normal something really outstanding and special? You know, in my opinion, we got a great opportunity here. In my opinion, it's time to stop the lip service. You know, the next person to me in the car industry that says we're wanting to have our customers to have a world-class service experience when they come in, I don't know what I'm going to do, because you all talk a good game, but it's lip service. Because numbers like I just discussed proves that you're not giving a world-class experience. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so what should this new normal look like? What would be the metrics that we would have to consider ourselves really providing a world-class experience? I mean, if we're going to do this new normal thing, let's make it something we can be proud of. So let's take a look at some of these metrics where they should be. For years, and I still believe this, I've always said, and for years I've always said, again, that I've yet to step on a service drive anywhere in the United States of America, Canada, or Australia that can't produce at least 2.5 hours per repair order, including oil changes. I don't care what the manufacturer is. I don't care how big or small the store is. I don't care where it's located. They're all the same cars, and when you put certain miles on them, they break, whether it's in a small town, a big town, doesn't make any difference, okay? So 2.5 is a real number. And I'm even going to take it a step further. If you're not at least at 2.0, you should be embarrassed. If you're not at least at 2.0, that means you're sending customers back out on the street when they come into your place with cars that are not 100%. I mean, come on. You owe it to your customers to be better. All right? So effective labor rate, what should it be? It should be 90 to 95% of your door rate. Customer retention, it should be somewhere between 80 and 85%. That's what we're talking about here. This is what the new normal should be. And survey scores. You should have survey scores that put you in the top 5 to 7% in the nation with the manufacturer that you represent. That's a new normal. That's what we want to strive for here, right? And then when concerning disgruntled customers and heat cases, which is the biggest things that your service advisors like to talk about when they come to my workshops, by the way, here's a guideline for you on that. For every 50 cars you have come across your service drive on a day, you should have one or less heat cases. I mean, to have heat cases just proves your staff doesn't know what they're doing. So, how do we make those numbers our new normal? How do we make these things happen? Well, before I get into that, I want to do, because I got a whole plan here for you, but before I get into that, I want to do a quick commercial. You know, we're back out on the road. You know, I'm actually going out and doing private workshops for dealer groups all across the United States of America, and we're knocking it out of the park. We are now offering public workshops. We're going to offer those again in October, November. We believe that the COVID thing is going to be pretty much at a state where you can travel, you can go to these things, and people are definitely going to want to go. And I know that because our workshops that we're having in Nashville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois are selling very well, even with this virus thing going on. You want to get yourself signed up. I'm going to be there. They're one-day workshops. I teach all of them with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and the content that you will get is second to none. It's world class, world class. I'm going to show you how to have these numbers we're talking about here, how to get to 2.5 hours per repair order, including oil changes. I'm going to show you how to get to 90 to 95% of your door rate when it comes to your effective labor rate. I'm going to show you how to get survey scores that are perfect, putting you in the top 5%, 7%, the worst in the nation. I'm going to show you how to get your customer retention with somewhere between 80 and 85% within 12 months, and I'm going to show you how to eliminate heat cases forever. You got to get yourself signed up for those. Now, if you don't want to come to a workshop, you're not ready for that yet, have one of my trainers come out to your stores. You know, I got trainers that are working with me who've been in the auto industry an average of 30 years. All of them were great service advisors, managers, and fixed operations directors. They will visit your dealership, stand side by side with your advisors, coach, critique, role play, and even write service to show them how our process works and makes their job easier and more profitable for you and them. We can show you how to set up an express service department. You already got one? We'll train those people as well. We'll train a BDC. We'll set up a BDC. You have manager concerns? We'll train your managers. My guys are the absolute best in the business. Nobody beats them or our content or our results. We knock it out of the park. Now, we also have books you can invest in, and I also have an online training program, which is extremely popular right now through the COVID thing. I've got some new content on it, more coming. I mean, it is outstanding stuff. How do you make any of that stuff happen for you? How do you make the new normal, what I'm going to describe to you here in a second, and get the metrics we've already talked about? Well, you dial 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, and anybody that picks up that phone after you call in can get you signed up and registered for one of those classes, get one of my trainers scheduled to your store, or can get you set up with our virtual training. It's that easy. Now, if you want to talk to me directly, okay, you can do that. Just dial 317-506-1003. Again, 317-506-1003. Now, when you call the 800 number, they'll pick it up just like that because they're here in the office. They're working all the time. Me, it typically takes 24 hours if you dial my 317 number, 24 hours to get back to you because I travel and I'm always doing workshops. But if you call, I will call you back. So back to the podcast. Like we said last week, we talked about the new normal part 1. Today we're talking about the new normal part 2, and I'm discussing with you what, I've discussed is that people want to go back to the normal, not really a new normal, but if they are going to come back to a new normal, Why don't we decide what that is? And why don't we decide and make that something truly, really special? And let's stop giving lip service, we've talked about this, to having a world-class experience and just start doing it. I told you the metrics that you were at, they were low, they suck, they're bad, they're embarrassing. But I also told you the numbers that you should be able to get to, numbers that we get our customers to all the time. So how do you do that? Well, here's some things here. Get your pencil out and write this down. Number one, stop listening to your manufacturer's reps and others who have never done the job and tell you these numbers aren't possible. They're telling you these numbers aren't possible because they don't know how to get them. They don't know how to get them because they've never done the jobs themselves. Manufacturers are great at building cars, world-class cars, but when it comes to service, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, I've been in conventions before when vice presidents in charge of fixed operations for these major manufacturers get up there and tell people, if you're at 1.3 or 4, you should be happy. Baloney. I mean, baloney. If you're not at 2.0, you heard me say, so stop listening to manufacturers. Okay, next thing. Stop thinking that one dealer in your dealer 20 group that has the numbers that we're talking about here, the good numbers, the 2.5, 80% retention, top 5% in the nation with their survey score, stop thinking when you find that one dealer that's in your dealer 20 group, stop thinking that they have a special secret or that they're gods. They're not. All they're doing is they've rolled up their sleeves, they've dug in, and they've made these things happen by setting up things like we're talking about right here. Anybody can do this, okay? There is no secret. Their secret is they work hard, they study, they work hard, and they make it happen, okay? Next, invest or create a true selling process for your staff to learn, to execute, to follow, and then hold them accountable to doing it. Now, this new process should instruct yourself not only how to sell your product, but how to sell your dealership, how to sell your department, how to sell the amenities that you have, how to sell your services and your products. Now, this should include but not be limited to these areas when we're talking service. Your training program should have telephone training in it, should have goal setting, should have how to greet a customer the proper way. You know there's a proper way to do that? How to ask the proper diagnostic questions, not just to learn about the car, but to get some insight on who the customer is that's answering the questions. It should include training on building rapport and performing a walk-around inspection, how to make a 6-step benefit-based presentation, how to close sales, handle objections, how to communicate to a customer what you found on a multi-point inspection and get them to buy, how to write a proper text and email and make a phone call back to them. That's just some of the stuff that should be included in this. I mean, this is a big task. It's one of the easiest hard things you'll ever do, one of the hardest, easiest things, but it's normal when people come back. This new normal could be something really, really special if you make this happen. And when you do this, and you start training these areas, explain to your staff why you're doing it. Explain to it how it's going to be better for the customer, how it's going to be better for the business, how it's going to be better for the department, how it's going to be better for you, and most importantly, how it's going to be better for them. They're going to get paid more, and the job is going to be easier. The job is going to be easier. Now, again, as we move out of this virus and back into the normal, we get to decide what normal is. We get to decide what that new normal is. So I encourage you to step up, take control, roll up your sleeves, and let's go to work. And let's deliver a customer service that overwhelmingly pleases your customers. Because here's what I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine when you walk out on your service drive and you have 2.5 hours per order in customer pay, including oil changes. I want you to imagine a day when you look at the numbers on your survey score and they're so high that you're in the top 5% of the nation with the manufacturer that you represent. I want you to imagine a day when you walk out and you've got an effective labor rate that's 90 to 95% of your door rate. I want you to imagine a day when you walk out there and sales are through the roof. I want you to imagine a day when you walk out there and your customer retention is 80 to 85%. And I want you to imagine a day when you walk out there and you have one or less heat case for every 50 cars you bring in. I want you to imagine that day, because that day is here and it's now if you want it to be. That day will be your normal day. That day should be the new normal that you dictate. That's what's going to draw people back. That's what's going to keep them coming back, and that's what's going to make them believe that you're the absolute best. You know, right before I came in here, I was talking to a gentleman on the phone. It was one of the most depressing phone calls I ever heard. And it's clear to me he didn't understand business. He didn't understand what he had. He's in a smaller town in the United States, and here's what his big complaint was. He said, you know, through this COVID thing and everything that's going on, I think the day of the small town dealer is all dead. It's all going to be dealerships in big towns and the like. And you know what? He's wrong. I think we're so far away from the small dealership and the small town going away as you could ever be. It's not about where you are that's going to make the difference. It's about what you are and who you are and what you deliver once the customer gets there. You deliver a world-class service to them and you make that your new normal. What person's want to drive out of your small town 20, 30, 40, 50 miles to a big town to do business? They're not going to want to go. I mean, you're already convenient to them. Now become the most impressive thing they've ever seen. Your business is not going to go away. You can actually grow your business if you have the right mindset. But if you just sit around and you continue to do things the way you did before the virus and return to that normal, then you could be in trouble no matter where you're located in the United States of America. Big town, small town, manufacturer, doesn't make any difference. So as people return and go back to normal, let's make this a new and improved normal. You decide what that normal is. And in my opinion, the new normal should be what the old normal never was. You must set high standards for yourself, and you've got to seize this opportunity. You need to educate yourself. You need to educate your employees. You need to make them understand what it means to truly deliver customer service. You know, I get told all the time, our people aren't qualified, our people aren't the right people. Well, let me share something with you. I've worked with thousands and thousands of service advisors, and and service team members, and I've never met one person that didn't want to get the numbers that you want them to get. But I've met thousands and thousands that didn't know how to get the number. Let's make this new normal thing where you train your people, you educate them, and you show them how to truly deliver world-class service. You know? Because the new normal that we create here could be something extremely special. Extremely special. You know, everybody's been through a very difficult time with this virus. Everybody's been through some financial scares of their own. And everybody's going through all these crazy things that are going on in the world, and they just want to go back to normal. And I say, like I said last week, the quicker you can get back to normal, the better you're going to be. But when we go back to normal, it doesn't have to be the sad, normal, underperforming normal from the past. It can be a new normal that we set, that raises the bar and sets a new standard and truly delivers world-class service. So I say, stand up again, take control, roll up your sleeves, grab the bull by the horns, and let's ride this bull to the new super economy that is coming just around the corner. The time is now. That's what the new normal should be. Hey, my name's Jeff Cowan. I have a company called Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and if you can't tell it, I love what I do. I love working in fixed operations, and I know you do too, or you wouldn't be watching this podcast. I appreciate every one of you watching. I encourage you to call us, text us, email us, tell us your thoughts. I'll be back next week with another new podcast, so make sure you come back for that. In the meantime, God bless you all. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.